Finally, I said wisely get rid of all our problems, and just keep in mind that this is what we're going to learn, and this undertaking this journey of freeing ourselves from the problems. Then we invoke the Buddha Shakyamuni, we invoke the all enlightened beings. And then imagine that the Buddha Shakyamuni inspire us. Don't remain in the fears of samsara anymore. Come to us ultimate happiness. And you hearing this melodious voice of Buddha Shakyamuni, how you inspire your two parents, you inspire all your family members, all sentient beings, informing them that look, this is what a compassionate teacher, Buddha Shakyamuni, is exhorting us. Let us not remain in the fears of samsara anymore. Let us go towards the ultimate happiness. And everyone hearing what you are saying, they're so inspired, they're so keen to come along with you towards the full awakening, where each and every one is going to be free from the suffering. Okay, with that in mind, you are leading this, and all sentient beings are joining you in this journey, and all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, all the enlightened beings, they are observing, watching us, witnessing what we're doing. We'll say this seven times together. Om Gati Gati Paragati Parasamgati Bodhisvatyata 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 Om Gati Gati Paragati Parasamgati Bodhisvatyata. Okay, that's page 32. We're reading 8 verses of my training. So this the whole purpose for us to read these 8 verses is to say the discovering that the problems which we shun, they are rooted to our thinking, and the happiness which we seek is also rooted to our own thinking. What kind of thinking? What underscores all the miseries that we go through, and what underscores all the happiness that we are seeking within our own thinking? When we look at the world of our emotions, of our thought processes, which we see that the deep inside, we see that there are 2 classes of the thought processes. One class are given rise to by the self-referential ego, and the other are the happiness. This class is all given rise to by the self-confidence. So here, this self-confidence, for the reason of compassion, when you're very compassionate, automatically you become very confident. And likewise, the wisdom is also will allow you to have self-confidence. So the self-confidence is the one which is like the bedrock for the love and affection towards others, compassion, and also the wisdom. And whereas for all these undesirable experiences of pains, misery, and so forth, then the self-referential ego, that is the one which underscores all our problems. So with that in mind, 8 verse mind training here, this teaches us as how to get rid of our, say, the self-referential ego, and how to boost the self-confidence. Oftentimes people have the misconception of what Buddhism is. They see Buddhism as something nice, religion, nice, but then they may have the wrong connotation. It's very self-denial, very passive, and say not active. Whereas if you know this 8 verse mind training, knowing that there are two things. One, which we have to say okay, so on page 32. Okay, one where we have to boost the self-confidence. Other, we have to subdue the self-referential ego. So this is the whole purpose. So here when we read this, you may see that it's very self-denial, say giving the victory to others, taking the loss on ourselves, and so forth. These are not really to sabotage yourself, but to to sabotage or to undermine the self-referential ego. So when this ego is subdued, your mind is full of peace, happiness, confidence, and then meanwhile it is not to be mistaken with the self-confidence. So while we subdue the self-referential ego, we are to boost self-confidence. So from this we see that after the 8 verses, the verse number 8 and then the next stanza, we see that the self-confidence must be boosted. So in other words, with the practice of the teachings of the Buddha, the message of Buddha, is to let us be aware that we should love ourselves, we should not hate ourselves, and oftentimes when we go through difficulties, one of the other back to back, then people tend to easily feel so demoralized, and then they start to hate oneself. I'm not good at anything. So this is where we're going wrong. We should never fail. We should never hate ourselves. And it's not that only you are going through difficulties. Everyone, presidents, prime ministers, kings, queens, and even the children of the CEO of the companies, everyone is going through difficulties in one way or the other. So there, with this in mind, you should feel that finally, I should never hate oneself. I should never hate myself. Oftentimes nowadays, particularly amongst the youngsters, we see that the youngsters, they talk about, I hate myself, I'm not good at anything, and so forth. This is nobody can fail you. It's only you who can fail you. The moment you say that I hate myself, that is the greatest failure. Otherwise, nobody can fail you. So you should be loving and caring, compassion towards self. For sure, there's going to be a day where your problems will be over, and it's a matter of time. So with that in mind, maintain self-confidence and subdue the ego, and knowing that the ego is the one which attracts all the miseries, and self-confidence is the one which gives rise to all happiness. With this in mind, we will recite the 8 verse mind training. This is just to subdue our self-referential ego so that we will be released from this trap the mental agitation, and then you feel such a release, such a freedom the moment you don't give in to self-referential ego. Okay. With the determination to achieve the highest aim for the benefit of all sentient beings, which surpasses even the wish-fulfilling gem, may hold them dear at all times. Whenever I interact with someone, may I view myself as the lowest amongst all, and from the very depths of my heart, respectfully hold others as superior. In all my deeds, may I probe into my mind, and as soon as mental and emotional afflictions arise, as they endanger myself and others, may I strongly confront them and avert them. When I see beings of unpleasant character, oppressed by strong negativity and suffering, may I hold them dear, for they are rare to find, as if I have discovered a jewel treasure. When others out of jealousy, slander and scorn, may I take upon myself the defeat and offer to others the victory. When someone whom I have helped or in whom I have placed great hopes mistreats me in extremely hurtful ways, may I regard him still as my precious teacher. In brief, may I offer benefit and joy to all my mothers, both directly and indirectly. May I quietly take upon myself all hurts and pains of my mothers. May all this remain undefiled by the stains of the eight mundane concerns, and may I, recognizing all things as illusions, devoted clinging, be released from bondage. From my true collections, vast the space that I have amassed, from working with effort at this practice for a great length of time, may I become the chief leading Buddha for all those whose minds wisdom eyes blinded by ignorance. Okay. So last time where we left was we were doing the Four Noble Truths, right? Four Noble Truths, and we are finished with the first one, the truth of the suffering. Again, just should there be new phases, then I have to do a little bit of overview of what bit, the revision what we did already very quickly. Okay, so how we started was that we all have the right. One, we all have we all have the treasure of ultimate happiness, and this is not just the exaggeration. It is not just some kind of consolation. No, it is the reality that each one of us, we have the ultimate treasure, happiness. One. And how do we know this, or how can we be convinced of this? Is with example. Of course, the examples and the reasonings and so forth, they are there. Basically, this is already what we did earlier. So with a very quick example is a gold. When I extract gold from the gold mine, you just see in the eyes of ordinary people, we see a bunch of soil, and the ordinary people may say, where is the gold? It's just a soil, dirt, soil, and the gold experts will see gold there. So how does gold expert convince us that there's gold there? Is by removing the soil from the gold inside. So initially it does not glow because it is the soil overrides the gold. And then as the soil is removed more and more, then what is inside, the gold will start to glow. Then you will realize, oh, there's gold there. Likewise, a mind, it is like the gold mixed with the soil. There's the gold there. Gold, which is the ultimate treasure, happiness, it is there within us. It is there within us. And just remove the metal dirt or the soil, and gold inside will glow. Likewise, each one of us, we have this gold inside. Only things that remove the soil, remove the dirt, and the gold inside us will glow. This is reality. So this is with a very simple example, and there are more detailed examples there, and the reasonings there, and particularly if you study about what we are studying now, then you will get a conviction that that's true. Okay, this is who I am. In fact, I have the total happiness within me. Now, for that matter, say if the goal is there, if the ultimate treasure happens there, and then this potential of the ultimate treasure, it is not that only if you are a Buddhist you have it. If you are not Buddhist, you don't have it. This is not true. Whether you're Buddhist, whether not Buddhist, whether you're boy, whether you're girl, whether you are, say, young, old, educated, uneducated, rich, poor, it doesn't matter. Everyone has this ultimate treasure happiness. So this is reality. So the Buddha did not come to invent anything. Buddha came to discover and then explain that this is reality. So the Buddha came to explain to us that this is reality, that we all have this seed of perfection within us, which is known as Tathagata Garbha, essence of the awakening, essence of the ultimate treasure. Tathagata Garbha, the essence of the ultimate treasure, happiness. Okay. If this is the potential that we have, then the question is how come that I'm not really happy. So since my childhood, I've been going through difficulties, challenges. When somebody says something nasty to me, I feel agitated. And then some people are very unkind towards me, I feel sad. So I'm just full of sadness, the anxiety, depression, stress, and so forth. So the ultimate treasure happens inside me. So why not? I'm happy. This question. Okay, for this we need to keep in mind, this is a very important example, the point that for this we need to learn what is known as the Four Noble Truths. Four Noble Truths. And this is a basic teaching of the Buddha, and it has nothing to do with the Buddha creating another system. It is just, the Buddha just came. Buddha came to explain to us that this is how the universe operates and how we, as an individual world, individual person, operate. So on that basis, the Four Noble Truths is what the Buddha taught. For the Four Noble Truths, I'm sure that you know what these Four Noble Truths are. Number one, the truth of suffering. Number two, the truth of the cause of suffering. Truth of suffering, number one. Number two, the cause of suffering, truth of the cause of suffering. Then number three, the truth of the cessation of suffering. Cessation meaning freedom. Truth of the cessation, truth of the freedom from the suffering and its causes, number three. Then number four, the truth of the path leading to this cessation of suffering. Okay, let me enumerate once more. The truth of the suffering. Then number two is the truth of the cause of suffering. Then number three is that the truth of the cessation of suffering. Cessation meaning freedom, getting rid of. Truth of the cessation of suffering. And then finally, the truth of the path leading to the cessation. Okay, the four truths. So there, if you look at the biography of the Buddha Shakyamuni, of course there are so many biographies of Buddha Shakyamuni. To keep it very simple, the biography of Buddha Shakyamuni as a Prince Siddhartha. He was born as a Prince Siddhartha, and he was born with a gifted intelligence and very compassionate. He was so concerned about the helpers in the palace, and oftentimes the helpers, not only the helpers, every member in the palace, they were going through so much of difficulties, challenges, problems, a little bit of conflicts here and there, and so forth. And then, of course, there have been a kingdom, so much wars happening amongst the kingdoms, and so many killings happening, bullying happening. So seeing all these miseries, then he realized that I have to look for a permanent solution. So he thought that if he remains if he remains in the kingdom, he would never get the solution to overcome all these problems. At the most, he can become a king, and then at the most he can help the people with the immediate needs, like say the material needs, food, clothing, and so forth. But these are just symptomatic treatment, and it is not a permanent solution. So he was looking for, he went and left the palace to look for the permanent solution. So this is, and then the Four Noble Truths. So he said that the suffering that we're going through, we have to identify the suffering so well. Only if we identify the suffering so well, then on that basis, you can think of how to get rid of the suffering. So once you identify the problem so well, if you're not happy with this, if you don't want this, what should we do? We should get rid of track the causes. What are the causes? What are the causes of this problem? For example, say if I have a problem, say I have a weight loss, then the fever, sweating, and then the losing appetite, and this is and then the weakness and so forth. And then whenever I have the fever, I take paracetamol. It may subdue the fever for a while, but this is not the real solution. And now the doctor comes and says, hey, don't take the paracetamol for too long. If it did for too, it can damage your liver, it can damage your kidney, and it can do more harm than benefit. Instead, you come, let's have a blood test. Then with the blood test, then you will realize that it is not just the fever. It's more than that. It's tuberculosis. You want to identify the cause of this problem. Then you can look for the remedy. And then you can imagine that if this tuberculosis is going to resolve, then the body will come back, the health will come back, the strength will come back, and then I can eat well, I can have good sleep. Okay, then you can imagine all the good things coming once the tuberculosis is over. Okay, this is number 2. Then how can I reach that level, reach that state whereby I'll be totally recovered? For example, say then you're hospitalized, and on the other bed there was another person hospitalized, and he or she in the daytime just goes out so healthy, so the jovial, very happy, come back. Why are you in the hospital? You ask him. Oh, so now I'm waiting for the doctor to discharge me. In the first place, why are you hospitalized? Why were you hospitalized? Because I suffer from tuberculosis. I see. Which means what happened to you? What kind of problems did you have? Oh, I was vomiting blood, I could not eat anything, I became so weak. But now that you are very strong, how come that you are very strong now? Oh, then I went through the treatment, right? So seeing somebody went through all this process, the way you are going through now, and then going through some treatment, now the problem is already over. Cessation of the suffering. Suffering's over now. Wow, this is amazing. So what kind of medicines did you have? So once you see that the person already cured so well, then you will be so eager to learn what made the person be healed. So the person will say that I took those medicines like isoniazid, rifampicin, ethambutol, these medicines I took. Okay, these are the medicines. Then you become so keen to take these medicines. So these medicines are the path leading to the cessation, leading to the freedom from the suffering. Okay, so what we have, the Four Noble Truths. The first way to identify that we are suffering. Yes, I have a suffering. Like what kind of suffering? Sickness, aging, death. And then somebody says that you are not doing good, right? You become easily agitated. And then, okay, how old are you? 20 years old is young or old? 20 years. Yeah, and somebody who, when I was 12 years old, I discovered the age of one boy who was 17 years old, very old. Who was 17 years, I was 12 years old. I discovered the age of that boy who was senior to me in school. You're so old. You're getting it? Okay, somebody says you're 20. As compared to me, 20 means very young. But somebody says, oh no, you're old. Then you feel offended. You're getting it? You feel offended. Offended means, do you feel painful or you feel happy? Painful. This is again a problem. This is again a suffering. So all these sufferings are there, right? And conflicts, fights, not getting the job, not getting the promotion, right? And then not getting the proper package. What do you call it? Yearly package job, just like 5,000, 10,000 rupees. Okay, there are so much of problems. Okay, then if you really get a good job, say like what's the standard good job? Like 12 lakhs or 20 lakhs per year is good job, is good work, is good salary. 20 lakhs per year. 20 lakhs per year. Wow, I'm so happy. Then you come to discover that your friend is getting 30 lakhs per year. Again, your mind goes down. I'm so hopeless. And then another person, never, I'll give you 30 lakhs per year. Again, you're very happy. Again, you see another person getting 40 lakhs. Again, your mind goes down. So we are never happy. So finally, the point is that we always go through problems. These problems, what do you want? I don't want any problem. I want the maximum happiness. This is goal. Okay, we have to check if this is our goal. I don't want suffering at all. Right? I don't want suffering at all. And I want the maximum happiness. Okay, this goal, I'm sure that you will agree with me, that this is something which girls aspire, boys also aspire. You agree with me? And this is a goal which the younger ones aspire, older ones aspire, Indians aspire, non-Indians aspire, right? This is a goal which everybody aspires, whether Buddhists, Hindus, Muslims, Jains, Christians, Jews, Zoroastrian, the Parsis, everyone aspires this goal. That I have no suffering at all, and I have the maximum happiness. This is what everybody is seeking. But the reality is that while I don't want suffering, I'm full of suffering. I'm so rich in suffering, right? While I want the maximum happiness, I'm deprived of happiness. This is the reality. Now, the goal that I have in my mind is something achievable, attainable, this question. Answer is yes. For this, we need to know the psychology, how the mind works, right? Okay, they say when you were getting like say the 10,000 rupees per month, and then suddenly somebody says, okay, I'll give you 1 lakh per month. You are so happy, and then the moment another person says, okay, but your neighbor is getting 2 lakhs per month. And then again your mind goes down, right? Which means that 1 lakh per se doesn't make you happy. 1 lakh can make you happy, 1 lakh can make you unhappy. You're getting it? So this is the same with respect to somebody getting like just 10,000. You are very happy to get 1 lakh. But with respect to somebody getting on 2 lakhs per month, you are very unhappy, you getting just 1 lakh. So 1 lakh per se does not guarantee whether you're going to be happy or whether you're going to be unhappy. So what is the third factor? This is how the wise people think, right? This is how the wise people think. Finally, you can do anything. You can do anything. The point is that your misery should come to an end. And your happiness should grow. That should happen. If that is happening, you're wise. And if that is not happening, no matter how much you're earning, no matter what high position that you are in, it doesn't make any sense. You are still going to suffer. The whole purpose of acquiring more money, getting more the promotion and so forth, it is meant to curb your problems and to increase your happiness, but it's not happening. That doesn't guarantee that. Okay, so what is that third factor? Right? Wise people will think about the third factor. The factor which is responsible, where with one particular factor, otherwise we see that this is, if I get more money, I'll be happy. What do you mean more money? 1 lakh per month. Okay, you get 1 lakh per month, but it doesn't guarantee. When you see somebody else getting 2 lakhs per month, again you feel very sad. Okay, so that external factor, let's say 1 lakh per month, doesn't guarantee that you're going to be happy. So now, what is the other factor? What is the third factor that is responsible for giving me unhappiness? For that, we need to keep in mind what is known as, we have to track the cause. Track the cause of the suffering. First truth is truth of suffering. So, that suffering is coming from 1 lakh rupees, or 10,000 rupees, 1,000 rupees, or what? That doesn't guarantee. But there must be another factor. What is that another factor? That is known as the cause of suffering. You are tracking the cause. You are tracking the cause. Ultimate cause. Okay, for that what we need to keep in mind, this is extremely important. Okay, this is how the wise people, what do you mean by wise? Somebody who can actually be thoughtful enough, somebody who is thoughtful enough to think of something which can actually help the person to get into the suffering and have more happiness. For that matter, let's say example of the sound of a clap. The sound of a clap, you will see that this sound of a clap is because of the two hands. Only with the two hands, sound of the clap comes into being. Likewise, all the pains, miseries, anguish, anxiety, so forth, they arise out of two factors. External factors and the internal factors. Money, no money. Good house, no house. Friends, no friends. They're all external factors. One hand. External factors are also very important. Other hand is also very important. Two hands come together. External factor and internal factor come together. Then the sound of the misery invariably arises. Okay. If you don't want the sound of the miseries, either you remove both hands or you remove right hand or the left hand. And to think of removing the external factors, how feasible is that? To remove all the external factors, how feasible is that? Is very, very impractical. Because external factors, they're innumerable in number. External factors, and to think of getting into all the external factors in the first place, our life is so short for that matter. So, say the wise people, instead of think of covering the entire earth with the leather so that you can walk nicely without disturbance, without being pricked by the pebbles and the thorns and so forth, wiser would be cover the 2 tiny feet with the leather and then walk. That suffices, cover the entire earth with the leather. So likewise, of the 2 factors, external, internal, say external, innumerable external factors there, internal, it is just less number, internal. And of course your question is, what are the internal factors? This is your question. Okay, so with this, the thing is that, say, if you are able to get rid of the internal factors, then just with the external factors, the sounds from the one hand movement, the sound stops. Finally, is not a point. External factors are there, not there. The sound of the misery should stop. Even with external factors, if the sound of misery stops, that is your goal. So, the wise people will think of getting rid of the internal factors, and the external factors are there, the sound stops. And in fact, nobody could get rid of all the external factors. The Buddha appeared 2,500 years ago. He could not get rid of all the external factors. Jesus Christ came 2,019 years ago. He could not get rid of all the problems. 1,400 years, Prophet Muhammad came. He could not get rid of all the external factors. And then the Hinduism, for example, like say Krishna, Ram, and so forth, they say it is more like the mythology. Say many, like 5,000 years ago, they came. They could not remove the external factors. And Bahula came. Guru Nanak came. They could not get rid of them. Nobody could get rid of the external factors, but they do not come to get rid of the external factors. They come to help us by teaching us how to get rid of the internal factors. The point is that of the two hands, if you can get rid of one hand, which is internal, symbolizing the internal factor, then the other factor, however strong, the sound stops, sound of your misery stops. That is the point. So with this, after the first truth of the suffering which we go through, and at times if you really think very seriously, truth of suffering is so acute, right? So acute. Okay, for example, say just yesterday, I went to meet the father of my friend, one of my friends, and he just went through a bypass, open heart bypass surgery, and it's excruciatingly painful. Excruciatingly painful. And then they say, look at the victims in the hands of the terrorists, right? It's so agonizing, and you cannot really imagine what's going to be next minute. So when we think like this, and then we say there are so many people going through accidents on the roads. The pains are so painful, so excruciating. So with this we see that, and these pains are reality. And we cannot really, just ignore, we cannot really try to forget it, try to just not look at it, or ignore it, being oblivious. No. These are realities. So now the point is there a way by which to get into these problems? Of course, yes. How? By tracking the cause. And the cause, external and internal, both are there. And what we have learned thus far is that external, very important. To tackle the causes, two ways. One is immediate measure and the long-term measure. Immediate measure, long-term measure, meaning that immediate what to be done, do it. But this is not the long-term measure. Long-term measure is a measure that we take to get into the problems altogether. So immediate measure, for example, say if you have ill health, make sure that you take good health, to exercise, not go into too much of depression, stress. So your body will recover. Whereas the long-term measure is finally to tackle the internal factors. Okay, so your question would be, what are the internal factors and how to get into the internal factors? This for sure are your two questions. So what are the internal factors? Internal factors, we see that, okay, fine. Let's say that somebody comes and greets me. Hello, Dorji. And I remain very proud, I remain very arrogant, just ignore the person. So this is a physical misbehavior. And verbally, I'm being very sarcastic. This is a verbal misbehavior. And the thought process is very unkind. Physical, verbal, and mental expression known as the karma. Karma, they say in the Indian culture, when I speak about karma, some people may take it as a very, esoteric kind of the concept. No, karma simply means actions. Physical, verbal, and mental actions, misbehaviors, they make others unhappy. Right? And in the process, when you misbehave physically, verbally, mentally, are you happy? You're not. You're not. And physical and verbal expressions which are visible, physical, verbal actions which are visible, what made you behave like this? To ignore the other person and physically remaining very arrogant and verbally being so unkind. What made these expressions come out? The thought process inside. You're getting it? Thought process inside. So this thought process inside, which triggered the person to behave in a nasty way, physical, verbal, these thought processes are known as destructive emotions. Technically, they are known as afflictions. So these afflictions are the cause of your miseries. And these afflictions, they give rise to the physical and verbal expressions. These are known as the karmas, or the actions. Afflictions and the contaminated actions. Afflictions and the contaminated actions, these two are responsible for all your miseries. Now, how these actions come about? How do they arise? By the afflictions inside. How do the afflictions arise? This is your question. How do the afflictions arise? Okay, for this we see that there are two factors. Afflictions arise through two factors. One is the ignorance, other is the self-centered attitude. Ignorance and self-centered attitude. To make it very technical, it is self-grasping ignorance, and the other one is self-centered attitude. Okay, now ignorance. This ignorance, as long as there's ignorance with us, there's no freedom. We'll continually suffer. And self-centered attitude, as long as this self-centered attitude is there, along with this ignorance, we will never have happiness. We'll only have miseries. These are two factors inside. Same with ignorance. Who is more confident? Somebody who, let's say if you come to Delhi and there are two people, one who's in Delhi for all these like 20 years and so well exposed to Delhi, so well aware of Delhi, and another person new to Delhi, which of the two persons is going to be more confident when you are in Delhi? Of course, the person who knows about Delhi more, who is exposed to Delhi more. So more the knowledge, less the ignorance. So we need to, this ignorance, we have to curb this ignorance through introducing the knowledge, the wisdom. So this is one factor. Now, who's more happy? Self-centered, somebody who's so selfish, or somebody who's kind? Who's more happy? Say financially, both are same. And then the same, whatever, all the other factors are same. Which of the two persons is going to be more happy? The person who's more kind or the person who's very selfish? Naturally, the person who's more kind is going to be more happy. So selfishness is the one which attracts miseries. Ignorance is the one which attracts fear. So these are two factors. Ignorance, technically it is known as self-grasping ignorance, and the self-centered attitude. So these are two factors which finally attracts all the miseries and which deprive us of the happiness. Okay, so now what we learned is that the truth of the suffering, last time we already did that. I don't want to go into detail. The suffering, we have to know the suffering very precisely. It is not that it to make us demoralized and heavy and so forth. But if you know the suffering so well, then we will think of how to get it, how to overcome the suffering. So the suffering, which is of three kinds. I don't want to go into detail. Now this suffering, the second truth is what? The cause of the suffering. Cause of suffering, what we learn is that the contaminated actions, physical and verbal actions, and also mental actions, all these three actions, they are driven by the afflictions. So karmas and afflictions, these two are the causes of the suffering. The truth of the cause of suffering. If somebody asks you, what is the truth of the cause of suffering? You can say contaminated karmas and the afflictions. And then if somebody is very precise, contaminated karmas, how do they arise? You will say they arise because of the afflictions. And how do the afflictions arise? You can say because of the Ignorance. You're getting it? Finally, at the root of all the problems is the ignorance. Okay. Now the next question is, what is the third noble truth? Truth of the cessation of suffering, right? A state where you are free from suffering altogether. Okay, how many of you in your life you had experience of headache and acute fever? How many of you had that experience? Raise hands. Okay, all of us. Okay. My next question to you is, how many of you could recall that experience when you were going through the phase of recovering from this fever, recovering from this headache? How many of you remember that experience? What is that experience like? When you're recovering, what is the experience? Huh?
It was more energy and strength.
More energy and strength. And some say good. Some say so in my case, I would say that for example, today I'm not having fever now. I don't have headache now. If I'm to choose the two states now, where I'm healthy, and the state I'm in the phase of recovery state. If I'm to choose, I'll choose that state, recovery stage. Recovery stage, you are ecstatic. You'll feel the ecstasy, right? It's amazing, the ecstatic, and even the dreams, so incredible dream, beautiful. You feel such an ecstasy, so much of saying the bliss and very happy. This is extraordinary feeling. In fact, I remember when I was going through, it was like I think about 10 years ago, when I had the tuberculosis. Whole night I would not have sleep. Then because I I could not sleep, and of course I was I was on leave. I was on leave, medical leave. Whole night I could not have sleep, and then morning, like 5:30, 6, then I started to fall asleep, and that sleep, it used to be so pleasant sleep, extremely pleasant sleep, right? Okay, so the point is that what is that like? If I'm free from all the stress, tension, depression, so forth, what is the feeling like? The truth of the cessation of suffering, right? Where all my suffering and the cause of suffering, they cease. They stop. What is the experience like? Okay. So for that to really, can you imagine what that experience is like? Can you imagine that? If you cannot imagine that, I'll create a scenario. Okay. How many of you had the nightmare in your dream at least once in your life? It's amazing. Everybody had this. Wow. Okay. So you imagine that you have a nightmare. Okay, say like particularly for the young ones, the nightmare usually goes chasing you. Right? Young ones, what kind of nightmare do you like to share? You like to share? No?
I also suffered from like even very recently this okay. Yeah. So I used to have problem of sleep paralysis. So where you feel that maybe some evil spirit is trying to attack you or something, and you're struggling there, but you would realize that you're struggling, but you're not able to do anything. But yeah, with some people's suggestion, they suggest that I can use some metallic protection around my wrists and under the pillows. So I also did some sort of meditation, but it was disturbing for many days. Or like even when you're working normally, like on the studies or doing day-to-day normal life, it was quite disturbing that kind of experience.
Okay, which means this kind of problem, which means even if I do not see you, if you share this experience with me, I'll say that you are in your 20s. Are you in your 20s?
I'm in the late 20s.
Okay, which means 20s.
Yeah.
Okay, so this problem is with those people who are in their 20s, right? The moment you cross the 30, then problem automatically you don't have to have all these protection strings. No need, right? It's a matter of time. So the moment you cross 30, this problem will automatically come to an end. Don't worry, it's a matter of the physiology. You're getting it? It's a matter of physiology. The growth of the physiology that creates all these the tension, fear, and the nightmare, as well like the evil spirits. They are coming to possess you, and so forth. This is just a matter of the age. Okay, so don't worry about that. So what your name?
My name is Richie. And
Okay, so what Richie said, let's say that in your dream, an evil spirit is coming to haunt you, right? Let's say. And so then you're so scared. In fact, I remember when I was young, I think I might be aged like 14, 16 in school, still in school. I think class like 10. So I used to have lots of very scary dreams. Very scary dreams. Okay, there are many stories. Okay, so imagine that we are going through one of these dreams, very scary dreams, and the ghost is, the evil spirit is chasing you, and you are running, and finally you fell, and then the evil spirit is about to get you. Then you think that now I'm done. It's the end of my life. And then when you say it's the end of my life, then your mother wakes you up. What's the feeling?
it was a feeling of
Great relief.
Yeah, great relief.
Okay, great relief. You're getting it? Okay, let's say that, and sometimes you have very pleasant dreams.
Yeah, many times.
Many times pleasant dreams also, and sometimes unpleasant dreams also. So within the same dream, within a single dream, imagine that you had the very pleasant dream followed by unpleasant dream. If this is what happens, there's one thing. Which of two dreams you like? The pleasant or the unpleasant? Of course the pleasant dream. You getting it? Okay, tell me that the two dreams, pleasant dream and unpleasant dream, although the pleasant dream you like, unpleasant dream you don't like, but these two dreams, there's one thing in common. There's one thing in common between these two dreams, right? There's one thing in common between these two dreams, which you'll discover that this is what you don't like, whether it's pleasant or unpleasant. Okay, tell me anything which is common between these two dreams. Pleasant dream, unpleasant dream. What is one thing that you can think of which is common with these two things? There are so many common things. You can just speak your mind. Anyone? What are the common things between these two dreams? Do you agree with me? Do you agree with me that both are dreams? Is it pleasant? Is also a dream? Unpleasant also a dream? This is one thing. And the dream, okay, you like the present dream. You like the pleasant dream. Okay, how many of you are going to have a pleasant dream tonight? Raise hands. Or how many of you like to have a pleasant dream tonight? How many of you like to have a pleasant dream tonight? Okay, good. And how many of you will have pleasant dream tonight? No, you're not going to have pleasant dream. You don't like it? I like it, but why? Why you don't raise your hands? Why? Why not? Because? Because we don't know. Why we don't know? Dream is not in the hands. You're getting it? Okay. Dream is, even though it's pleasant, it is not in the hands. To have it, not have it, it is not in the hands. Which means that we don't have the freedom to choose the dream. You're getting it? We don't have the freedom to choose the dream. If you don't have the freedom to choose the dream, you have lost the freedom. Loss of freedom is greatest misery. You're getting it? With the dream, the problem is that we don't have the freedom to choose the dream. Because we don't have the freedom to choose the dream, this is known as the loss of freedom. Loss of freedom is the greatest of the suffering. Right? Okay. So with this, now the point is that unpleasant dreams, nobody wants it. Even the pleasant dream, you don't have the freedom to choose it. Even the pleasant dreams. So which is better? Unpleasant dream, pleasant dream, and waking up, which is better? Unpleasant dream, pleasant dream, and waking up.
Waking up for me.
Yes, of course, waking up. Waking up means you are free from the unpleasant dreams. You are also freed from the vulnerability of not having the freedom to choose the dream. You're freed from that also. You're getting it? Wake up. It is for this reason that the Buddha is referred to as the fully awakened one. Right? So now, when will you be freed from the, for example, let's say the evil spirit is chasing you in the dream, which is an unpleasant dream. And then Richie, your dad comes and says, hey Richie, why are you scared? Because of this evil spirit. And then the dad, right? Dad, they say, Om Mani Padme Hum, or so whatever, some mantras, and the evil spirit runs away. Are you happy? Hey Richie, are you happy or not happy?
Yeah, I'm happy.
You're very happy, you're getting it? And the father says, okay Richie, can I leave now? You said yes. Father leaves, again the ghost comes back. You're getting it? So earlier you had the relief from the ghost, that is a temporary relief, it's a respite. It's not a permanent solution. What's the permanent solution? Wake up. You're getting it? Permanent solution is wake up. Okay, so now the point is, say what we have learned is truth of suffering. This is like the unpleasant dream. And what is the samsara like that we are going through? It's pleasant or unpleasant? Unpleasant and sometimes pleasant also. Right? Somebody gives you birthday gifts, you are happy. Right? Okay, pleasant, unpleasant, unpleasant dreams, pleasant dreams, both are there. And then how many of you are guaranteed that tomorrow, just as we don't have the freedom to choose a pleasant dream, you like the pleasant dream, but we don't have the freedom to choose a pleasant dream. Likewise, who's going to guarantee that after 5 years I'll be very happy, right? I have no more problem. How many of you can guarantee that? We cannot guarantee that. You're getting it? After 5 years, we may have happiness, we may have suffering, but we cannot guarantee today that after 5 years I'll be happy. After 5 years, I'll be in this place, I'll be in that place. We cannot be guaranteed. You're getting it? We don't have the freedom to choose the future. So that is like having the pleasant dream, having the unpleasant dream. And in both cases, you don't have the freedom to choose the destination. You don't have the freedom to choose the dream. Okay, now, how to get out of these two problems? Wake up. Likewise, truth of the suffering is caused by the ignorance. Ignorance is like being in dark. In dark, you don't see the reality. Right? You don't see the reality. For example, if you are hallucinating, how many of you actually know about hallucination? How many of you know about hallucination? Raise your hands. Very good, we know about hallucinations. And did you ever come across somebody who went through hallucination? Do you know anybody? If not, still don't worry. If you know, well and good. When somebody hallucinates, what did you do? They are so scared. For example, the problem of schizophrenia. Schizophrenia, right? They start hallucinating. In fact, when I was when I was 21, 22 in the monastery, from the school, I joined the monastery, and there was another monk, a junior monk, 1 or 2 years junior to me, and suddenly he started to hallucinate. He started to have the schizophrenia. And I had no experience what schizophrenia. I did not even know the word schizophrenia. And he was junior to me, and he was telling me, something. And I thought that I do not know that he was going through schizophrenia. He was having schizophrenia. And then he would say that, okay, I could hear somebody from the window saying that he's going to kill me. So scared. He literally had to live in fear 24 hours. 24/7 he had to live in fear. Always hearing the voice saying that I'm going to kill you. This was what he was going through. And then later on, then I heard this word, schizophrenia. I learned this, and he was going through schizophrenia. So imagine that you come across somebody who's hallucinating, right? Hallucinating with somebody, appearance, the vision of people coming to kill him, hearing the voice telling him that I'm going to kill you. Okay, so these are the things happening. And this person believes that somebody, for example, if I'm hallucinating, if you are hallucinating, that somebody always hearing voice saying that I'm going to kill you, and you believe that somebody is there. Is that ignorance or this wisdom? You hear a voice which says that I'm going to kill you, and you believe that yes, somebody is telling me that that he's going to kill me. Is that ignorance, or this valid, or this not valid? This is not valid. It's not valid, but you think that it's valid. What is not valid, you think valid. This is known as ignorance. How to get rid of this? Ignorance was the opposite of ignorance. Opposite of ignorance is a knowledge. Knowledge or the wisdom. Now how to get rid of it? For example, saying in dark, you don't see what is around you. In dark, but you don't see what is around you. With ignorance, you don't see reality. Ignorance, by the very definition, is what obscures you from having the vision of the reality. You don't see the reality. Likewise, in dark, you don't see what is around you. But if you want to read book, but because it is dark, you can read the book. So what should you do? You should remove the darkness. How will you remove the darkness? How will you remove the darkness? Oh Buddha, please remove the darkness. I have to read the book. Or what will you do? Pray? Pray or what? What will you do to remove the darkness? Just put in the light. If there's power cut, don't worry, put in the candle. Just light a candle. You getting it? Whereas if you pray, oh Buddha, please remove the darkness. If you say like this, if the Buddha is sitting next to you, he'll be feeling so sorry. What a stupid follower. Right? He'll be very unhappy. Whereas if you light a candle, he'll be so happy. Wow, wise follower, somebody who is really wise. Okay, so this should be approached by introducing the counterforce. So what's the counterforce of ignorance? The knowledge or the wisdom? So what is that wisdom? In dream, when you're in sleep, you are in the ignorance of the sleep. You see the dream as real, which is ignorance. So how to get out of this ignorance of the sleep? Wake up. Get the wisdom by waking up. So how to get rid of this ignorance, being the internal factor? How to get rid of this ignorance of the two hands? One hand symbolizing the ignorance, internal factor. How to get rid of this? Introduce counterforce. What's the counterforce? The wisdom, to know the reality. The moment you introduce this wisdom, this ignorance goes away. Of the two hands, one is gone. Then the external factors, no matter how strong this external factor, the sound of the misery stops. This is what we are seeking. You getting it? Okay. So the point is, the moment this ignorance is gone, then the sound stops. The sound ceases. The sound of the misery ceases. This is the third truth. What's the third truth? Truth of the cessation of suffering and its causes. Suffering stops. Okay. What did you do to get rid of the suffering? For example, say you're the roommate, otherwise the roommate, and who was in the hospital and who was just jumping jumping on the beds, and in the daytime, going outside, enjoying, coming in the nighttime. Why are you in the hospital? What was the answer? I suffer from tuberculosis. And how come that you're so healthy now? Was the answer? So healthy now means that the problem of the tuberculosis ceased. Cessation of the tuberculosis problem. You're getting it? And what is your question to that person? How did you recover? How did you recover from this problem? How come that you have the cessation of the tuberculosis problem? What did you do to recover from the tuberculosis? What's the answer? I took these medicines. You're getting it? So these medicines are the path to the cessation of the suffering. You're getting it? Okay. Now the point is the truth of the cessation. The problems coming to an end. Problems coming to an end. That is a metaphor. Now the meaning is that our problems should come to an end. And how can our problems come to an end? Is in two ways. One, partial cessation, and one is complete cessation. Partial cessation and complete cessation. Partial cessation meaning a cessation where you are free from all your suffering. And the complete cessation is where you are not only free from your suffering, but you're able to have the maximum happiness by being able to give the maximum benefit to others. So the first one, partial cessation, is known as nirvana, and the ultimate cessation is known as Buddhahood. These are the two cessations. Truth number 3, third noble truth. So what is the fourth noble truth? What's the fourth noble truth? The path leading to the cessation of suffering and its causes. What are the paths? Okay, this is the next question. So the path, in simple terms, okay, if I tell you that, will you tell me your name?
Shubham.
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 Shubham, where are you from?
Sir, I'm from Delhi.
No, which part of Delhi?
Greater Noida.
Greater Noida, okay. Say.
No, actually, it's in UP.
Huh? It's in UP.
Yeah, but
Okay, let's say the Shubham invites all of us, right? No, let's say Shubham, all of you invite me to Greater Noida, right? Greater Noida, and then you all invite me there for some conference, and I'm there, and you want to make me so happy, but you could see from my body language that I'm scared. Okay, tell me, how will you don't want to see me scared, but I'm so scared, right? How will you help me? How will you help me to get rid of my fear? What will you do? Any idea? Shubham, what will you do? Or Richie, what will you do? Huh? Any idea? I'm scared, right? And you have that with me, and you want to make me very comfortable, but you see that from my body language, you see that I'm scared. So what will you do to get rid of my fear? Any idea? Huh?
sir, I would like to know what is the cause of your fear.
Okay, very good. So some people, they said, hey, the Geshe, don't be scared. This is a very safe place. There's no elephant here. Right? Still I'm scared. And then your name? Ugyana comes. Shubham failed to make me feel safe. Now Ugyana comes. What happened? Oh, I'm scared. Oh, Geshe, don't worry. Right? There's Noida, Greater Noida. There's no tiger. Still I'm scared. And then what's your name?
Ashvina.
Oh, Ashvina says, oh, Geshe, don't worry. Right? There's no thief here. Still I'm scared. Right? Your name? Sarah. And Sarah comes. and Geshe-la, don't worry, right? Don't worry, there's no terrorist here, right? Still I'm scared. And then Shubham came for the second time. He said, okay, tell me, what's the problem? Why are you scared? Right? Okay, tell me. So, okay. So with all your attempts to make me comfortable, still you fail to make me comfortable. So what will you do? Shubham, what will you do?
So, same, I would like to know the cause of this.
Yes, then you will ask me, Geshe-la, what makes you scared of? What are you scared of? Then I'll say that I'm scared of chikungunya. Chikungunya is because of what? Mosquitoes. You're getting it? Okay, even though you say that, okay, tell me. You say that, no, there's no elephant. Is it true or not? That's true. That's wisdom. That's wisdom, but that wisdom is not relevant to resolve my problem. That's not related to my problem. You're getting it? And then who said that there's no terrorists? Sarah said that there's no terrorists, right? Is correct or not? That's correct. That's correct. It's in wisdom, but that wisdom is not related to the problem that I'm going through, right? So for that, what wisdom is required? That wisdom which is directly in opposition, to the fear that I'm going through. That is wisdom required. That wisdom is required. So the best thing is ask me, what are you scared of? So then I'm scared of the chikungunya and what else? Dengue, right? Okay, I'm sorry. It's not because of the tiger. It's not because of the elephant. Not because of the terrorists. It's because of mosquitoes. Then you can say that don't worry, Geshe-la, this is mosquito-free zone. Then I'll be free. Okay, then I feel relieved. You're getting it? Okay, now the point is that what's the path that leads to the cessation, that the fear dissolves, right? That path is the wisdom to wake up from the sleep of ignorance. You getting it? Okay, to wake up from the sleep of ignorance. What kind of sleep of ignorance? Okay, say, number one, what kind of sleep of ignorance? Number two, what kind of wisdom? Okay, so this is going to be a little technical. The last part is going to be a little technical. I'm going to do this and then we'll stop here. The last part is going to be a little technical. Okay. Let's say that we all have eye defects. You're getting it? We all have the eye defects. And then you see strange things. Okay. I picked this up and asked you, what is this? And some of you may say, oh, this is a chocolate. Some of you may say this is a toy. Some of you may say that this is mobile. You're getting it? Or some of you may say this is a monkey. Right? Okay, different answers are coming. Right? Okay. Now, and then finally, okay, why is someone seeing as chocolate? Why is someone seeing it as monkey? Why? There's no monkey there. There's no chocolate here. Why are you seeing different things? Why? Anyone? It's the nature of thing. It depends on what the nature of your defects. Eye defects. You're getting it? Eye defects. Some can be in one way because eye defects are not identical. Your eye defect may be different from others. Others different maybe from Richie. Richie's maybe different from Ugyenla, right? So we say eye defects can vary. Because of this, we see different things. Okay, now let's say that now you have the proper eyesight. What is this? Huh? Hey, what is this? Don't be afraid, right? Tell me, what is this? Hey, what is this? Sarah? Red rose. Hey, Shubham? Red rose. Richie? Yeah, you all see the same thing, right? And okay, when I say what is this? Red rose, and I pick up a chocolate, Swiss chocolate. What is this? Right? Small children will say that Swiss chocolate, and the elders who are suffering from diabetes will say Swiss chocolate. You're getting it? Both give the same answer, Swiss chocolate, but the response is how they give the answer is very different. Children, they give with excitement, Swiss chocolate. And the elders who are diabetic will say Swiss chocolate. Why the answer comes in a different, with a different passion. One with full of passion, one without passion. Why? Why? Both give the same answer, Swiss chocolate, but the answer come in a different different tone, passion, right? One with passion, one without passion. Why? Why? With the same answer, but with different the tone of the passion. Why?
Because one had already experienced the pleasure and the consequences also, and the other one had not yet experienced that kind of.
Who did not experience it?
These children had not experienced.
Yes, of course. Swiss chocolate, they already experienced it, right?
They have not experienced. They have not experienced the consequences.
Or even the elders, right? Even the elders who are not diabetic, they will say the same thing. They will say the same. They give the same response. Swiss chocolate, right? Even the elders who are not diabetic, who are diabetic, will say Swiss chocolate.
But they are aware of the consequences. They have the knowledge of what the positive and
Who? The one who said, huh?
The adults.
No, adults there too. One who is not diabetic will say Swiss chocolate. One who is diabetic will say Swiss chocolate. Why? Huh? Okay, so what Rishi is giving is, he's getting there. The point is that cognitively, both cognize the same thing, Swiss chocolate, you're getting it? Both cognize the same thing, but there's another factor, liking or not liking. When you like it, you give the same answer with a passion in it. When you don't like it, you give the same answer without passion. This is the difference. You're getting it? So there is not only the cognitive, there's also the affective. Affective meaning the passion. You're getting it? So likewise, saying the self-centered attitude. This is the passion for the self. And the ignorance is the cognitive. Cognitively, that is erroneous. Erroneous cognitive process. This self-grasp, the ignorance. And the mind. So there's passion there. So that is the self-centered attitude, the affective side. Affective side and the cognitive too. Now, both are problematic. Both are problematic to attract all the miseries on you. Ignorance, we have to look for ways and means to get into the ignorance. We have to get rid of, we have to look for ways and means to get rid of the excessive attachment, self-centered attitude. You're getting it? We have to get into both. These are two factors. To get into ignorance, we have to cultivate the wisdom. To get into self-centered attitude, we have to cultivate the love and affection towards others. Right? So finally, what is that path which leads to the cessation of suffering? Is the wisdom and the other cherishing mind. Compassion. So, in other words, if you really want to get rid of all the suffering, if you really want to have the maximum happiness, our job is simple. To get rid of all the fears of life, cultivate the wisdom. Wake up from the sleep of ignorance, the wisdom. Cultivate the wisdom to wake up from the sleep of ignorance. That will guarantee that you are freed from all the fears of life. In other words, if there is one mind which is more fearless in nature, okay, how many of you want to be fearless in your life? Raise your hands. Okay, all of us, right? Okay, if you really want to be freed of all forms of fears, when will I get a promotion or not? Right? Will I get a job or not? All these are fears. Fears. If you really want to get rid of all the fears, the best is cultivate the wisdom. Cultivate the wisdom to wake up from this sleep of ignorance. That is the most fearless mind. This is the most fearless mind. Don't forget it. And how do you want to have the maximum happiness, raise hands? How do you want to have the maximum, including myself? Whether or not this is achievable, this is the next question. But how many want it? I want it. If you really want to have the maximum happiness, the most beautiful mind, which can give you the maximum happiness is the unconditional love towards others. You're getting it? Okay, so we are looking for the fearlessness and we are looking for the maximum happiness. The fearlessness is given to you by the wisdom. And the infinite happiness is given to you by the unconditional love. As simple as that. So anything that you do, if it helps you to either inculcate the wisdom or to inculcate the unconditional love towards others, these are the two things that will guarantee that you are getting in the correct direction. So that person is known as a wise person. Anybody, whether you go into spirituality, whether you go into politics, whether you go into business, whether you go into family the things, whether you go into studies, education, further studies, whatever, or activism, whatever, where your wisdom of emptiness is growing, wisdom of waking up from the sleep of ignorance when that's growing, or where the unconditional love is growing, you are the wisest person. You are the wisest person. That is your dharma. Dharma doesn't mean that you have to go to a temple. Dharma doesn't mean that you have to always do some chanting. Right? Your wisdom should keep growing where you are getting the fearlessness. Your unconditional love should be growing where you are attracting more and more happiness. For example, Mother Teresa. If you think of Mother Teresa, we see that she's so happy. You think of Jesus Christ. We see he's amazingly confident and happy. We look at all these great teachers, enlightened beings. They're so confident, they're so happy. The Buddha, today His Holiness the Dalai Lama, is all because of this unconditional love. So anybody who embraces these two things, that person is a wise person, and you are in the track towards seeking awakening this incredibly precious, the treasure within you, which is known as the Garbha, waking up, removing the dirt of the self-grasping ignorance, and remove the dirt of this selfishness, and then this diamond inside will come out. Fearlessness, the diamond cannot be destroyed by anything, so it becomes so fearless, and that it radiates with such a glow that gives you such a joy, infinite happiness, and fearlessness. Okay, this is the Four Noble Truths. Okay, any questions before we wind up? Any questions? Just feel free to ask me any questions, right? And in fact, your questions would be very good for me, for me also. It would be a great source of learning for me. Yes, Ukiana? Okay.
I just wanted to ask this question because it will be more.
Yes. Fine. Yes.
So, Mrs. Amalaya, Mrs. Dikisum Dusum Resniga. And China Madonna, so I gave you some solid. Madonna, to put Mr. Jumana, to put the pitch of Muda. Even there, but just really a huge more, keep from your country, Jumane, talk with keep Madonna, send our listening.
Okay, the question is that the same we have in our life, we experience both happiness and miseries. It's not only that we experience miseries, we also experience happiness. But miseries, even though it is very minuscule, even though it is very small, we see it as just unbearable miseries. And happiness, even though it is gigantic, it's a massive happiness, we see it as very small. So why can't we see in a balanced way? Is this question? Okay, so this is a very serious and very good question. In fact, I'll share reality and reality. What I call it? Say the episode, and from this we will learn a lot. Okay. Once from Delhi, I was flying to Pune. I landed in Pune, and my host, who came to pick me up at the airport, he was sweating. And he said, Geshe, it's so hot. I'm very sorry that it's so hot. I said, no, it's such a pleasant breeze. There's a breeze there. It's so cool. He said, no, Geshe, you're joking. I said, no, I'm not joking. It's breeze there. He said, no, it's so hot. Then I told him, okay, now I understand. I'm so grateful to Delhi. You know why? Because I'm in Delhi, it's 47 degrees centigrade, so hot. And then wherever I travel outside Delhi, I feel everything so pleasant, peaceful, everywhere, wherever I go. Pune, they are just screaming, so hot, complaining, so hot. For me, it's a cool breeze. I feel so grateful to Delhi. You're getting it? Okay, so we have to learn, we have to acquire skill, whereby everything has two sides, good side and bad side. You're getting it? Everything has good side and bad side. Say Delhi weather, is it good or bad? 47 degrees centigrade. Good or bad? Right? If I don't share the story with you, you will say it's very bad. Now you already heard the story, you said you will laugh and you cannot say bad. You're getting it? From Delhi, you go anywhere. Amazing. So, because of being in Delhi for so long, when I was in Himachal, wow, this is like a bliss in heaven. Right? Air that I breathe is so fresh. And people, they do that, oh, it's so dusty. They complain like this. No, the air is so fresh, it's so beautiful. But nobody appreciates that. And I was the only one who's appreciating that. What made you appreciate that? Why I'm so happy? Why I'm so happy? Why they are not feeling happy? Because of the kindness of the Delhi pollution, right? That makes me to feel happy about the other situations. So the point is that if you get 1 lakh rupees per month, is that happy? Not happy. Say, okay, two things. If you get 1 lakh rupees, or let's say 20,000 rupees per month, don't look at somebody with 1 lakh rupees per month. Look at somebody who is getting only 7,000 rupees, 5,000 rupees. Then 20,000 is amazing. You will enjoy it. You're getting it? Finally, know how to enjoy the moment. Know how to enjoy the moment. That moment. Don't lose this moment. Don't lose this moment. Don't lose to enjoy this moment. Right? One moment you have like say 20,000 rupees per month. Oh, look at my friend, he's getting 40,000 rupees per month. You lose this moment. You have this experience to no moment in a miserable way. You could not enjoy this. When you see somebody earning just like 5,000 rupees, working so hard for somebody, wow, I do not really have to work that hard. Still, I'm getting 20,000 rupees. I'm so fortunate. You've enjoyed this moment, right? One. Likewise, say the weather. Weather is very hot, 47 degrees centigrade. In Rajasthan, sometimes 50 something centigrade, right? Oh, I'm very lucky that I'm not in Rajasthan. I'm in Delhi, I'm so lucky. You're getting it? Okay. So likewise, in Delhi, how many you were in Delhi when the Delhi temperature was dipped down to 4 degrees centigrade in the end of December? All of you? Sarah? And Sarah's friend? Your name? Chunila? Same? 4 degrees centigrade. What's the temperature like? What was the weather like? You like it? No, you don't like it? Huh? 4 degrees centigrade, you like it or not like? Huh? Okay. If somebody else asks you, you will say that no, it's very cold. There is extreme weather. We are so good at saying this, right? There is extreme weather. Just imagine Ladakh, minus 20 degrees centigrade, and some part of Russia. Even today, some parts of the world, snowfall. Even today, in April, when Delhi we are using the AC to cool down. In other places, Switzerland, they were having snow. You getting it? So in some places it's like minus 50 degrees centigrade. Okay, always try to look at things like this. So everything is relative. Finally, what do you want? You want happiness, not want happiness. If you want happiness, know how to see it in relation to, with respect to, relative to another one, where what your situation that you're in is good situation. If you want suffering, then think of the situation which is better than yours. That's up to you, right? Okay, so the point is that you can enjoy every moment if you can see the other side. Other side meaning the relatively worse situation than yours, right? Okay, I like to share this with you. Say with your young ones, why don't you do one exercise? If possible today, going back home, do this exercise. Boil water, and say keep 3 like mug or tin containers. 1, some water from refrigerator, right? Very cold, maybe like 0 degrees centigrade or 4 degrees centigrade. And another one with like 30 degrees centigrade hot water, not to burn your hand, 30, 40 degrees centigrade. And the second one, like 20 degrees centigrade. Put your right hand in the 30 degrees centigrade, put your left hand in the 0 degrees and 4 degrees centigrade. Keep it there keep the 2 hands there for 5 minutes. Then take out the 2 hands, put them in the container with 20 degrees centigrade. Your left hand will say, it's so hot. Right hand will say, it's so cold. You're getting it? Just the same person experiencing the same water, the same person, you will experience the contrast. One hand will say, so cold. One hand will say, so hot. It's not just intellectually, experientially you can feel it. You're getting it? So therefore, things, there's nothing absolutely there as good. Nothing absolutely there as bad. Right? It's how you think. If you're able to think from a proper direction, you will see it as a source of joy. If you don't know how to look at it, right? Say for example, let's say if you don't know how to look at it properly, it's a source of miseries. For example, if you're by yourself, what you will say? Oh, I'm feeling lonely. If you're with other people, you will say, I have no privacy. You're getting it? So whereas if you're by yourself, wow, I'm so happy, I have privacy, right? If you're with other people, I'm so lucky that I'm not lonely, right? So if you know how to look at things from a proper perspective, every moment is a fun for you. If you don't know how to look at things from a proper perspective, every moment, even if you are at the 5-star hotel with the best of the facilities, you are in miseries. You are in hell. Yes, over there, maybe the last question.
So, just looking at this relative phenomena, you are having a perspective related to in relation to something else. You are trying to find a better perspective. Would it be like instead of this relative thing, if you start accepting if one starts accepting the thing in totality, whatever it is, accepting the things in totality instead of creating that division, it's better or it's worse. or this comparative thing, would this totality be better than the division?
Okay, let's say totality means you accept it as it is.
Yes.
Okay. Let's say finally, this is a very good point. Finally, the point is, no, you are the best judge for yourself. You are the best chooser for yourself. Chooser meaning, what do you want? Well, I want the totality, right? I want to accept things. To accept it, nobody, you are the best person. And you say, oh, what is totality? I have to accept the suffering? Right? No, that I don't want. I don't want suffering. I want happiness. Then learn how to see things in relative ways. Find what do you want, right? No one is to impose. Nobody can impose anybody. Only if somebody imposes on a gun, that is different. Otherwise, you have to decide for yourself. Question, ask yourself, what do you want? I want suffering. Okay, fine, this suffering, so I accept it. Is this what you want, right? Okay, somebody who wants to come to kill you, right? Okay, yes, if you want to kill me, then this is suffering, I have to accept it. Or you want to run. This is better. Don't say that I want to accept the totality. I want to, okay, if you want to kill, now I can't do anything, I'll accept it. No. Do your best to run away because you don't want suffering. Right? Finally, the point is, ask yourself, what do you want? You want to accept the suffering or you want to run away from suffering? If your answer says, I want to run away from suffering, run away. How? There are many things. Physically, you can run away and escape from the suffering. One. And sometimes you can run away from the situation by turning the situation, keep the situation same, by turning it with a different perspective, right? If you're by yourself, right? There are so many people, they have to share the dormitory, right? 5, 10 people, they have to share the dormitory, and the people are snoring, right? Wow, I'm so lucky after privacy, right? I mean, if you're in the dormitory, sharing, don't look at the people snoring, right? Those who are alone, those who are craving to see another human being, right? Oh, I'm so lucky that I'm not alone, I'm not lonely. You're getting it? So change the perspective and you become happy. Find the point is, what do you want? It's not that you should accept it, you should be happy, you shouldn't suffer. That's not the point. The point is, what do you want? Right? I don't want suffering. If this is answer, then change the perspective, it will make you happy. In fact, every moment has a shade of happiness. Silver lining or the shade of happiness there. Everything has a shade of the happiness. Okay, is there any other pressing questions? Otherwise, we'll stop here. Any more questions? Okay, then in this case, we'll stop here. Okay, good. For your information, what I'd like to share with you is that all these studies, which today we did it in a very comprehensive way, because we started, I think, like this is 2 sessions ago. We already had 2 sessions before, 2 or 3 sessions. 2 sessions before, and because every time there is the newcomers, so today we just wind it up very quickly. The idea is that if you are interested into more of this, into a detailed studies, so Tibet House, every year there's one program known as the Nalanda Diploma Course. There's Nalanda Diploma Course program there, and this year what we are going through now is the first batch, and there is a more detailed study program there, 4 years program. So that will start the next batch will start only after the completion of the first batch, which means that still there's going to be another 1.5 years to go through. But the diploma course, which is 1 year, for that they were advertising this. The second batch we're advertising for the enrollment in May, and then enrollment should happen by May, June, July, and the actual course, 1 year course, will start from from October, around October, and then they say, to make it very clear, for the students, in the first place, it is highly subsidized. It is not really focused on the fees, but we have to charge something. If you don't charge, people take it so cheap, so they don't value this. So for people to feel the value, they say put some fees there, but even that is highly subsidized. It is because of the Indian government, Ministry of Culture, Indian government, that we are getting some funds that there is not really problem with us for Tibet House. So it's just for the participants to feel the value. We are just putting this fee there, and then for the students, what is subsidized? Even that is further subsidized. It's just one lunch, fee for the whole 1 year. What you pay for one lunch, that much is for the whole 1 year fee, right? Okay, for the students, it's highly subsidized. Just to let the students, just to feel that we are part of this and are paid, right? Okay, just for that purpose. So that is just to say, for us to learn how to say lead a life, to make a life easier. Stress, depression, tension, how to minimize them. So learning the skills and how to make a mind more sensible. This whole purpose of this course. Okay, we'll stop here, and they shall learn. You want to do the quick direction prayer?
Please turn to page 278.
Okay, meanwhile, say, should you have personal questions, like these very good questions, feel free to write to me, to the office at tibethouse.in. Feel free to write this. It should be addresses behind this book, office at tibethouse.in. Just feel free to write us, and okay, so this point, yeah.
Page 278, additional dedication prayer. In the land encircled by snow mountains, you are the source of all happiness and good. All-powerful Chenrezig
Tenzin Gyatso, please remain until samsara ends. Just as the brave Manjushri and Samapatra too realize things as they are, I also dedicate all his merits in the best way that I may follow the perfect example. I dedicate
all these things of virtue with the dedication praised as the best.
by the victorious ones thus gone of the 3 times, so that I might perform the noble Bodhisattva's deeds. May the Supreme Bodhicitta, that is the not arisen, arise and grow, and may that which is arisen not diminish but increase forevermore. Chanjo Semjo Rinpoche Kya Panam Kya Gyoroche Kya Panyam Bamayam Kone Kondo Pevaraiju.
As long as space remains,
As long as sentient beings remain, until then man truly remain to dispel the miseries of the world. Due to the merits of these virtuous actions, may Akrita attain to the state of a Guru Buddha and lead all beings without exception into that enlightened state. I dedicate the merit thus gathered towards the realization of the deeds and the prayers of all the Buddhas and the Bodhisattvas of the 3 times, and to the upholding of the Dhamma of teaching and realization. May I, on all life through the force of this merit, never separate from the 4 wheels of the Mahana vehicle, and accomplish all the stages of the path, renunciation, bodhicitta, perfect with the 2 stages. With the wish to free all the beings, I shall always go for refuge to the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, until I reach full enlightenment. Inspired by wisdom and compassion, today in the Buddha's presence, I generate the mind of full awakening for the benefit of all sentient beings. I go for refuge to the triple gem. I confess the negativities individually. I rejoice in the virtues of all the beings. I hold the precious Buddha in my heart. The path of union of emptiness and compassion is lucidly explained by the protector of both the Dharma and the Vishnu know that you are the Buddha soul, the Tenzin Gyatso, we supplicate you that your wishes are fulfilled spontaneously. May the operations of evil thoughts and deeds of the negative forces of humans and non-humans that is press against the teachings of the Buddhas be totally vanquished through the power of the truth of the three truths. In all my lives, never separated from perfect gurus, when you enjoy the magnificent Dharma by completing the qualities of the stages of the path, may we attain the Geshe Dorji Damdul. Throughout my future lifetimes, may I always be guided by the Ministry and be able to uphold the Dharma in general and the teachings of independent origination in particular, even at the cost of my life. Okay, good night.